Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I'm going to do another video. It's entitled, because I've done a series of these called Studio Tales. And I'm going to give you a little insight on some of my personal experiences in the music industry. And the purpose of these videos is to kind of head off young, inspiring musicians to walk into traps that are not good for you. Because I had somebody walk up to me the other day and said, yeah, you've been playing since I can remember, and I remember seeing you all over the city in the in the 80s, when your band was on TV, and they asked me, and they said, why aren't you a drug addict or on drugs or all that kind of stuff? Because again, I'm entitled this video, Studio Tales, Sex and Drugs. And we're going to deal with those issues or topics because I think it's really important, because people ask all the time, why do musicians or people in the music industry, a lot of them are on drugs? And I guess the answer to that is stupid peer pressure, because when you're a teenager, you start to experience that nonsense where you don't fit in with the in crowd if you're not smoking pot or doing any types of drugs. And I think that, I can only speak for myself, that my strong family foundation, as far as my mom and my dad, who taught me to stay away from stuff that's not good for you, it stuck with me, throughout high school, throughout my, teen years in my adult life. And unfortunately, some people that are in the music industry never kind of got out of that mindset that they need to be a part of the in crowd, so they do these types of things. Because I've been to many parties pertaining to the music industry, as far as CD release parties, and literally see people got cocaine on the table going at it, just out in the open. And it just kind of blew me away that people get that strung out on drugs. And as far as the sex thing, I guess it kind of goes like this. When you are in the public's eye, whether you're a big star or just somebody that people see, unfortunately, people offer you things that you would normally wouldn't get if you was just the average person and not being seen on TV. Because I learned a long time ago, and this was a good lesson to learn. When I was probably 19 years old, I was with this band, and they were like one of the biggest bands in Chicago at the time. And I was the youngest guy, of course, and I came in for sound check at this club. And the club was just kind of letting people in at that point. It was still just open. So I consider myself kind of a shy person, and I walked to a lady at the bar with her friends because she was attractive, and I thought, well, I introduced myself. And she politely said, thank you, but no thank you. So I respected that, and I left. That particular night, I sang lead on LTD's Love Ballad, and I was singing and playing my heart out up on stage. And after the show, she gave me her number, and I said, I'm the same guy that you kind of brushed off earlier that day. And she's like, well, since I seen you up there and you're looking all cute, blah, blah, blah. So, basically I end up throwing the number in the garbage, because I look at it this way. If you can't be into me for me and only because of this, I'm not interested. But unfortunately, there are a lot of men that don't care how it goes down as long as it goes down. So, unfortunately, a lot of guys get caught up into this very promiscuous type of lifestyle in the industry because this sex is really readily available, and drugs too. And here's a sad story. One of the bands I was in my mid-30s. And at the time we were popular, we had stuff on the radio, we did TV shows, and one of the singers, it was three of them, he was out there kind of in that sense. And long story short, he got together with a woman and contracted AIDS, and he passed away. And I'll never forget the very last show that we did. He was so thin and so weak and frail that he had to actually sing his lead part sitting down in a chair near the stage, because he was so weak he could barely stand up. And it was really heartbreaking to see, one of my band members and personal friends pass away from that. And what a lot of people don't realize is when one person dies, most likely there's someone else dead or dying, because two people got together, one was infected and then infected the other one, so both of them are going to die. And unfortunately, he had a girlfriend that he was not being faithful to, and she passed away like a year later. So, it's a serious wake-up call, as far as, need to be really mindful of the situations that you get in and the risks that you're taking, which are not not worth the risk of taking when you out there having unprotected, very casual sex. So again, I credit my upbringing as far as never smoked, except for a role in the movie that I did, you know, a short film. But other than that, I never smoked. I don't drink, don't do drugs, don't do anything of those, none of that kind of stuff. Never had an interest in that because, you know, your body is your temple, and you want to protect it at all costs. You know, you don't want to be reckless and put yourself in a situation where you can be very sick or die. So I thank God again for my parents that kind of kept me focused and grounded, that I was around that kind of stuff all the time, the sex, the drugs, but it didn't affect me because I didn't want to become a part of that by no means. So I'm one of the fortunate ones because a lot of my musical comrades during the 80s are now either in rehab. A couple of them are dead from AIDS and other types of illnesses that were brought on by that lifestyle. You know, so this is kind of a message to you young folks that enjoy the music industry, but you don't have to indulge into that nonsense of taking drugs because the other fool across the hall or across the room is taking drugs. You know, you don't want nobody to lead you into a grave or early grave. So I just thought I would put this video together, you know, for these people out here that are trying to get into the business, the things to avoid. And if anybody try to offer you that stuff, just politely tell them no. It's not my thing, man. If that's your thing, you know, I don't have a problem with that because, you know, you're responsible for you. But as far as me, thank you, but no thank you. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. And until next time, take care.